Hello everyone. Welcome back to Playwright with TypeScript end-to-end automation testing training session 3. In today's session, we learn couple of very key important aspects from the TypeScript like TypeScript anonymous functions, arrow functions, library functions, TypeScript race parameters in a functions, TypeScript type inference, TypeScript constructor, TypeScript array, and very key important operations we can perform on the TypeScript array. So in the past two sessions, we already learned about what is TypeScript, the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript, what are the software required to start your journey in the TypeScript world, TypeScript variable, data type, TypeScript loop, TypeScript conditional statement, and complete operations on the strings along with the TypeScript function. So in the last sessions, you already understood about the TypeScript function. So function is nothing but the reusable block of code. We can try to write one time, and after that we can try to use it n number of times. And TypeScript functions, in the last session we learned about that how we can create a functions types in TypeScript where we can pass some argument or without passing any argument also with return type or with return type as well. So let's go to the VS Code. So in the day 2, we have learned about how to create the functions where we can try to pass multiple parameters as is a number, string, and other way, right? So here we have in the last session we created a function called multiply. We are trying to provide three parameters which are number in nature, returning it. So this is the return type with return. Okay, and we are trying to call it, and we can try to call it n number of times. In case we are having the parameters, we can pass the parameter value, change the parameter value every time, and without also right without parameter also you can try to create the function. Okay, just like this function we have created where we did not pass sorry, we did not have a return type simply. Okay, just we are trying to print it, so we can have the function with return type or without return type. Okay, now let's whatever functions we have created here for multiply or get full name, where we are trying, whenever we are trying to call those functions, we are trying to give the value and automatically function will work. If we try to run it, so what is the command? In node space the file name, so which is nothing but the day2.ts file. Here we are writing the TypeScript, so we can hit enter, automatically output will be coming here. So we return the functions, we are passing three parameter x, y, z and returning x star y star z mean multiplication. So here we are trying to pass the value called 2 5 10. So 2 into 5 10, 10 into 10 100. So this is the result is coming. Then next time with this result I am trying to multiply with 20, so it was 2000 was coming, and this function I am trying to write combine two name, first name as last name. So we are trying to pass first name as Rahul, last name as Sharma, so it is coming as Rahul Sharma. Now today we will try to learn couple of more important functions called anonymous functions, arrow function, library functions, and also we learned about the how we can use race parameter in a function. So these are the couple of important functions we should learn in the TypeScript journey. So what is anonymous functions? So in the last sessions you already seen that whenever we are creating the functions, like we are trying to give the functions name like multiply, right? Then we are calling the functions and we are trying to store the result whenever we are getting the functions. But anonymous functions is a kind of function that does not have any name, and it is usually assigned to a variable or passed as an argument to another function. And anonymous functions can also return any value using the return statement, and it also runs to complete after invocation. And anonymous functions can be used when user do not need to refer to a functions by name, or when they simply want to create a function expression. So this is the symbol. We can try to give, right, no function name. You could see we are trying to give only function but no function name, whereas normal function we are trying to give the function name, and we are trying to provide that different parameters or argument, but here no function name. Instead of that, this function we are storing in some normal variable. So anonymous function that return here as a square of a number. Let's try to go ahead and define some anonymous function. So first what we will do, we'll create a file called day3.ts file, and we will try to create the functions here, anonymous function. Let's try to give with very simple way. First, let's do it something. Let say called display name. So this is the variable I'm defining, because in the anonymous function there will be no name. Okay, and you can need to give colon, and here we need to give that parameters whatever passing, and what is the type of the parameter. So it is nothing but string. Name will be string format, and then here I need to use this sign equal to and greater than. This is the sign for anonymous function. Return type is string, so I can store in some string, and then equal to here function, but without any name, just simply functions. And here again I can try to use this syntax again. So that is the syntax of anonymous functions. And return type finally it will be string, so I can again give as a string, and I can give the block here what we want to do. Okay, let the variable name colon, and here also this is fine, equal to string equal to function name. Here I need to give the return type. What we returning say with, we can use string literal. So string literal is nothing but the backstick we can use. Okay, so this is the backstick. So say user name comma and dollar sign. So this is the way we can define the strings, and within the curly braces again the variable. That is the way I can do it, right? Define the functions. Now if we want to just simply call this function, what we need to do, we can use console dot log, and here I can just directly call it, right? Here what is the method variable name, whatever we try to define it here, called display name, and here we can pass the name, right? Say my name. Okay, and just do it, and let's try to run it. So what is the name of the file? It's day3, so I'll change it to day3. So it will be node space day3.ts. So you could see username Haradhan. Now what is the objective of this kind of function? Any kind of function I can try to like try to run n number of time. Called Rajesh, I can change it to Rahul. So that is the I can change the parameter. I can change it in number of time anywhere after changing the parameter value. You could see whatever is coming. Similarly, in case we want to go with other way, right? Here only just printing only one value. But if you want to do some operations, let's how we can do it. Let's simply way. Let's try to do something called um, mm, square or cube. Something called cube variable name, and here I can give something called num variable, and return type will be number. This is the variable name, and here it will be also number. Okay, number, and here it will be also number, here it will be also number, here it will be also number, and this is the variable name. I can change it here. Now what will returning? Simply without any string literal, I will try to return num star num star num, because that is the cube, right? And now it will try to store it. That console.log, again same way I can try to use it. Console.log, here what we can do, we can use some double quote. Okay, if we want to use, we can use string literal also if required, that is fine. The square, or sorry, cube of, say I want to go with the cube called 5, right? 5 is, and here I can give comma, and okay. So before that, what we need to do, we need to call this variable, right? So what we'll do, we'll try to call is cube, say 5. Okay. So what is the cube return type? You could see number, right? Num variable is calling, variable we are passing, its return type is number. So I can try to store it some number called let variable. Okay, cube number variable, and what is the variable type? Again number. I am giving the equal sign. Now I can try to print out this value here with comma. That is the again concatenate. Let's try to run it, the code again. Let's see what's happening. You could see the cube of 5 is 124. Similarly, I return the line only one time. Okay, then I can try to just call it n number of time. Cube number, here I can change the variable also. Cube number 5. Here I can change it to cube number 5. Now say I want to check the cube number 10. Okay, also same way. Okay, or you can directly call it also. That is fine. Cube number 10. So here I can try to change the value called 10, and here I can change the value called 10. So it will be 10 into 10 100, 100 into 10 1000. That's all, right? So you need to change everywhere. So that is the, you can write it one time and you can try to print it n number. You could see q of 10 is 1000. So that is the way. Without the function's name, we can try to create the anonymous function. But let's understand what is the real-time example of the anonymous function. Okay, so in TypeScript, anonymous functions are widely used in real-time programming as callback for anonymous operation like set timeout, fetch, or fetching the data, and with higher order function like array, methods, map, filter, and sort. They are particularly very useful when a function is only needed in one specific place and does not require a name for reuse. Just we need to use it, but that function does not require a name for reuse. So here anonymous callbacks will be there. So what is anonymous callbacks? Which is the real time example of the anonymous function. So anonymous functions are primarily or commonly used as callback for event that happen later point of time or some delay, such as timer completing or network response arriving. So these are called asynchronous callback. So asynchronous callback in TypeScript are commonly used for tasks like fetching data for a server or handling user event without blocking the main program execution. So whenever you are fetching the data from the server, it might take 10 seconds, 20 seconds, even couple of minutes. But do you want to stop your execution, the remaining program execution, in case they are happening faster way? No. That is the way callback will not stop other program execution, but it will only proceed at the last whenever it will completing. But other program execution, it can finish early, though those line of code are there in the next line. So that is the beautifulness of the asynchronous callback. A real-time example involves in simulating a data fetch using set timeout to mimic network latency. Let's see the how we can implement the asynchronous callback. Let's comment out this code. So let's try to create couple of codes so you can understand it. Let's try to use console.log. Here I can try to give something called let's start of the TypeScript block of code. Okay, now I can try to have this code called end of something like that. Okay, that is fine. And here if we want to print something called console.log, say think about this normal function 10 divided by 2. Okay, so what will happen if you execute the program? Okay, you could see line by line coming. Start of the TypeScript block of code, then 5 is coming, which is second line, right? Okay, then what is coming? Third line, last line. So that is the way line by line code is coming. But in case we are trying to use some asynchronous functions as a callback, so what will happen? Because this might be taking more time, where you can have delay, something called especially set timeout, like couple of second delay. So will it wait to complete and then next of the program will be executed? No, it will not wait. So that is the beauty of the asynchronous callback function. Let's try to create a very simple function called set timeout. Okay, we can try to create a very set timeout. We will try to create an arrow functions here. We will discuss arrow function in the next topics, as part of the next topics. So here I can try to use it. Okay, console.log. Okay, and give some output so that you can visualize here. Okay, say asynchronous function body, which will be displayed after say 4-second delay. Okay, just giving, and here we will try to give as a 4-second delay. So 4000 millisecond. That's all. Okay, here I can give a comma. That should be fine. Okay, let's check it. uh, okay, okay, here we are giving it set timeout is fine. This is not required, I think so. No, set timeout, and it's fine. This is likely fine. Need to give one more bracket. Let's see whether it's running or not, or what's the problem is coming. Okay, syntax error. Okay, let's try to copy it. Yeah, I think some bracket. Yeah, this bracket last this bracket we are not giving, so that is the reason problem was coming. Okay, we can give it 4-second delay. Okay, so you can change it to 4-second delay. Now let's try to run the code. Let's see what's happening. So we are having this first line, and second line we are trying to have this delay. Okay, which is nothing but asynchronous callback function. Then third line, then is this fourth line. So this line of code, whenever it's printing, it will wait for 4 seconds. Then it will call back. Functions will call back. Body will call back, because this is the functions. Here we are trying to give 4-second delay, and after 4 seconds this function will call and then body will be executed. But for this other line of code will be stopped or halted or not, let's see. Okay, but it will not be halted. Okay, other line of code will be executed without waiting for that. So that is the important stuff of the callback, asynchronous callback function. So you could see three line of code executed, now waiting for 4 seconds. Now this line coming, which is actually second line of code, which is second method, and this line is coming from the second method, and this is the third, and this is the fourth. So here first, second, first, third, and fourth is executed, but second is not going in sequence, and it is not waiting for the other, and it is not stopping from other remaining line of execution. So that is the asynchronous callback functions. So let's try to run it once more time. You can visualize it. Okay, you could see first, third, and fourth executed. Now it is going for the second one method, which is calling the method. After 4 second delay it is coming. So this is the way we can use the asynchronous callback function. So it is also an anonymous function, primarily used as callback for event that happen later in time, such as timer completing or network response arriving late. So asynchronous callback in TypeScript mainly used for tasks like fetching data from a server or handling user event without blocking the main program execution line by line. A real-time example involves data fetchings using set timeout to mimic network latency. Now we'll go to the one and the next one. After that, we'll be taking a pause. Any questions, doubt, we can discuss it. Now let's discuss about the TypeScript arrow functions. So we already use so much functions here. Okay, we already understand about the a couple of function like anonymous function, asynchronous callback. In anonymous function, we are giving the complete line of code. But this particular arrow functions will help us to shorten the code. That is the main objective. In Java, you already seen the lambda expressions, which will help us to write the very less number of code, and we can have the program ready within couple of lines of code very easily, so that our maintenance debugging effort will be less. So an arrow function in TypeScript is a short method which is primarily used for writing a function's expression. User need to use equal to then getter sign. So this part we already used here. So this is the you can have the arrow functions. Okay. So user should use getter then equal to getter syntax to introduce the arrow functions. Now what are the other stuff is there in the arrow functions? Okay, so an arrow functions without parameter is defined using only empty parentheses. So here we did not use any parameter, so it's empty parentheses, right? So that is the also you can have the arrow function. So an arrow functions without parameters is defined using empty parentheses. This type of function is useful when no input values are needed, such as for callbacks, timer, or simple operation. Whenever arrow function has only one parameter, so arrow function can have without parameter, one parameter, or multiple parameter also, or default parameter. So when arrow function has only one parameter, parenthesis around the parameter can be omitted, making the syntax shorter and cleaner. This is commonly used in callback. This is commonly used in callbacks, array method, or simple operations. Arrow functions with multiple parameter, we can pass the parameter one by one. It will be used to simplifying writing concise functions expression in TypeScript. Is primarily useful for functions requiring more than one argument. Then arrow functions support default parameter as well, which will allow predefined values if no argument is passed, making TypeScript function definition more flexible and concise. Now let's try to understand about the couple of example of the arrow function. Okay, with argument we'll do first. Without any argument. Okay, so let's do very common functions. Okay, called constant without any argument or with no argument, constant or anything you can use. Say, okay, programming language, right? Programming language. This is the function name equal to simply this bracket parenthesis without anything equal, and it data type will be string. Okay, then here you need to use equal to sign and greater than symbol. Then here I can give the body, okay, called like TypeScript. Okay, like that. Now what we can do, we can try to call the arrow functions and print its return type. So what is the way I can do? I can use simply console.log, and here I'll be using these functions. I need to give this parenthesis. Okay, so I can call it n number of times. That is fine, because functions can be written once and can be used n number of time. You could see TypeScript programming is coming. So this is one arrow functions where we are having very less code, very less complexity, and we can easily design these functions. Now we can try to use arrow functions with one argument. So say let's, and you can give the programming called. We already learned about cube. Let's do it square. Okay, here we'll be passing one argument. So let's give as a called I, and as a parameter, and number. Okay, here it will be also number, and here it will be the return type, right? So I star I, and then I can try to call it and that time I can try to just change the parameters. So what is the method function's name? Square, and I can try to give the values. So I want to get the square of 15. Okay, first time 15 to 15, 20. Let's go with 20. So 20 into 20 will be 400, and 15 into 15 will be 225. Let's see. Yeah, 225 and 400 is coming. So I can go with one argument. I can go with no argument, and I can also try to go with multiple argument. Right? Say let's go with similar way. Let's uh, let's first define it here with multiple argument. So instead of square, I can give something called multiply. Multiplication method name, and here I can pass two argument, integer I number, comma j also number, and return type will be number. So here it will be, I can go with some return type, and instead of directly doing it I can use this block. Okay, and I can return I star j. That will be fine. Now I can try to just call it. Okay, I'll be calling this variable name here, and I'll pass this to well argument. So what is the argument? Say 20 and then 25. So what will be the output? 20 into 25 will be 500, and you can give some extra string also if you want to do. So 20 into 25. Okay, sorry, here I have given j into j. That is the reason it's coming 25 into 25, 625. So I have did some mistake here. Instead of I star j, I have given it j star j. Okay, now let's correct it. So you no need to panic. Just check the code. Sometime we can do some mistake. That is fine. Now if you run it, you could see 500 is coming, right? Because that is the way. Now instead of just multiplication, you can change it to addition, subtraction, anything. You can go with multiples number argument also. So let's go with one more like argument called k, which is also number. Now you can do here I star j star k, and you can pass one more value. Okay, 510. So it will be output will be now 5000. So that is the way you can change it. So this is like nothing but the arrow functions, where we can try to write reduce the lines of code, and we can try to create the functions very easiest way. And we, once function is created, we can use it in number of way. And arrow functions can be without any argument or no argument, with one argument, with more argument, sorry, with more than two argument or equal to two argument also. So this is the way you can try to deal with the TypeScript arrow functions and asynchronous callback functions and anonymous functions. So anybody, any doubt? Is it clear? Okay. So let's go to the next topic then. Now we'll try to discuss about the TypeScript race parameter in a function. So here we are trying to, we already learned about the arrow function, anonymous function, all this stuff. But say we will be writing only one function, where same function we can try to change the different number of arguments. Is it possible? Yeah, the answer will be yes, it is possible in the TypeScript. How it is possible? We can try to use TypeScript race parameters in a function. So in TypeScript, race parameters primarily allow a function to accept an indefinite number of arguments as a single array. They are indicated by the dot 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 or triple dot symbol before the parameter name. The race parameter must come after the normal parameter and never before. Breaking this rule, it will result an error. So the syntax is function, function name, triple dot, race parameter name, and type of then function's body. Let's try to do it. A race parameters. Let's comment out this code. what is the we can do it very easily. Let's try to do something called functions add here. Very simple way. And whenever you want to try to create REST payment, you need to give triple dot dot. I can give something called numbers or num, anything here. And what is the type? It's called number. You need to do a single dimension, so you can give this single dimension here. And I can end this bracket, then it's fine. Then I can go outside. I can give colon, and I can give again number. Overall return type is a number. Then I can try to go with that block. Now I can try to define something called let sum total, right? Because I want to add it, or that is fine because sum is fine. Variable name, and again it is number. And initially, definitely it will be 0. So I can assign with some 0 value, and then I can use some for loop, and where I can try to use any for each loop or instance for loop or normal for loop also. I can try to define something called let. Okay, num1 variable name I can give it colon, sorry, of what is the old variable here, num. So I can take it. That is the way I can go with the enhance or for each loop. Here I can give something called new variable sum, then plus equal to of sum, or uh, this one number one. Okay, I think that should be fine. Now I'm returning. Okay, here it will be a one more bracket, and this part I need to keep it inside this one, and here I'll be returning the sum. Now I can try to call it dot log simply add method, and without passing any argument. So what will be the output? Output will be 0 because initially sum is 0. Then now I can try to pass one argument, say 5. So sum will be 5 plus 0 is 5. Then I can try to pass two argument, 5 and 15. So sum will be 0 plus 5 plus 15 will be 20. Then I can pass three argument, 5 comma 20 comma 50. So that is the I have written only one functions, but I can try to use it with different parameter with 0 to n number of parameters. So that is the important aspect of the TypeScript base parameters we can use in functions. You could see the first one is coming as 0 because initially there is no parameter. Initial value was we have defined sum as 0, and here 5. So 5 plus 0 is 5, and here 5 plus 15 equal 20. Here 5 plus 20 plus 50 equal 75. I can go with n number of variable. I can go with 10 variable, 20 variable, like that, whatever way, like that. So it will work. So, but we are defining only one functions, and we are trying to use the value, right, n number of way with passing the argument. Dropped. Okay. So that is the way I can try to create this, try to use the rest parameter in a function. So how we can do it? We can use the functions keyword, then we can have the functions name, triple dot, variable, whatever you want to pass. Then we can pass the single in, right? This is called nothing but single dimensional array, where we can try to pass a single dimension. Return type is number, and what do we want to do? We want to create a variable name called sum, where we can initially define a 0 and definitely be number. And here we are using an enhance, like enhance for loop, right? We are defining new variable, and we are using this syntax sum plus equal to num1, so that it will start with 0, and then whatever value we are adding, it will try to just add one by one. So here initially add value, we are calling it 0 coming output. Here 5 is 0 plus 5 equal to 5. Here two parameters, 5 and 15 equal to coming as 20, three parameter, and here couple of more parameters, and accordingly it is behaving. So now similarly way, if we want to just go with the multiplication, so I already have the code ready. So let's call it Same way, only no difference much. But for multiplication, you cannot give the initial value as 0 because it will be 1 initial value. In case you are giving 0, all the output will be 0. So here multiplication, same thing. We are creating new variable called final sum and we are defining as 1. After that, we are returning it where we are instead of plus, we are multiplying it number, all the number one by one. So it's nothing means it is coming as output 1 because by default it is 1. Then 25 means 25 into 1, 25. Then 20 into 30 is 600. Then 3 parameter will be coming and 4 parameter also will be coming. Then you can use n number of parameters. So let's try to run the code and let's see what's happening here. You could see the output is coming accordingly. No argument means default value is coming, right? Whatever we have defined in the final num variable. 25 in 25 into 1, 20 into 30 is 600, 15 into 20 300, 300 multiplied by 25 is 7500. Here 5 into 10 is 50, 50 into 5 is 250, 250 into 10 is 2500. So that is the way we can create only one function and we can try to use the rest parameter in this TypeScript functions. After that we can call it n number of times with 0 to n number of parameters. So that is the main beauty of this rest usage of the rest parameters in a function. Now we will try to see how we can have the TypeScript library functions usage in our code. So library function is nothing whatever is already available in that particular programming language, or maybe whatever easy library we can integrate with this particular programming language. Those we can use it very easiest way without defining them. So that is the main objective of the library functions. So TypeScript library functions are nothing but the pre-written functions either built into the JavaScript runtime, which TypeScript uses by default, or found in some external libraries that provide specific functionalities like mathematical calculations like math.random, math.square root, math.pow, or string manipulation like to uppercase to lowercase like that. So they are very ready made functions to be called in the code without defining them from the scratch. That means they are already available due to the other library or due to the JavaScript or TypeScript, wherever. So TypeScript can use it whenever it's integrated. So that is the main benefit. You don't need to define them again. Instead of that, you can use it as it is without like defining or redefining them. So let's try to see couple of important math functions available in TypeScript. So let's go with the like called to uppercase to lowercase. So let's define some word called let. Okay, called any variable name I can give it. Say let's okay, the variable name called okay, called language is called programming language variable actually. So definitely it is called string type. Okay, here I can give something called equal to uh, any JavaScript or TypeScript. I can do any variable name like that. So it is combination of upper and lower case, right? Now simply I want to just print it out using console.log. Okay, here what we can do, just language is the variables, and then I can try to use that method called to uppercase. You could see this is the methods available. So that you will change everything to uppercase. I can directly call it or I can store it some variable also. That is also fine. Similarly, we can do with some to lowercase. So that is the methods available called to lowercase in the as a math function. So let's try to run it. So this is the two important math functions available. You could see the first one is called uppercase. Everything is time converting in the uppercase or the capital letter. Here everything is getting converted into the lowercase or small letter. So then what we can do, we can try to use some other functions called okay, console.log. Math is the function. Let's copy it, the code. Okay, math is a function. Sorry, math is a the thing. Okay, we can try to call lot of functions from the math. Okay, so see about that called rounding. We can try to round a number. So let's give the number called 11.8. Should be rounded, right? Then we can use called random number. Random. Okay, it is method is there. So it will try to print out some random value between 0 to 1. Okay, that is the important of. And round method is nothing but return a value of a number rounded to the largest integer, whereas math.random method will return a pseudo random floating point number between 0 to 1. Now what we can do, we can try to use the cell function ceiling, right? Cell method, where we can give any value called say 20.8. So what is the importance of the cell method? It will round a number up to the next largest integer. So here it output will be 21. Then we can try to use the floor. Okay, so say give it something called again same number. I can give it 20.8. So what it will be, the output will be there. The floor is nothing, it will round a number down to the next smallest integer. Let's try to run it. Run the code and let's see what's happening with this math function. Okay, so initially first one is coming as 12. Okay, so math.round is nothing, it will return the value of a number rounded to the nearest integer. So nearest integer is 12 from the 11.8. A random is coming 0.22 something like some number. So it will return a pseudo random floating point number between 0 to 1. Then ceiling is nothing. It will round a number up to the next largest integer. So 20.8 next largest integer is 20. Whereas math.floor, it will round a number down to the next smallest integer. So next down like next smallest is next smallest. So it is 20 coming as 20. So that is the way you can use it. Now couple of more math function I can try to use it. So called pow is nothing but the power sign. Okay, then we can use the square root. So you can just, if you press dot, you could see all the methods will be coming here. Dot, you could see what is coming. We can use the log, we can get that sine cos, we can try to use the logger, we can get the max min, right? If you give something called max, here if we provide two number called 26 comma 20 comma 18, so whatever max is will be coming, right? Whatever max value, then if you use mat dot square root, okay, this method is there, square root. In case you are giving say 16, so what the value is coming, square root will be 4. Then we can try to use other way. Okay, math dot power, where we can try to use say power. So 3 to 3 and then power is 4. So 3 to the power 4 is 3 into 3 9, 9 into 3 27, 27 into 3 equal to 81 will be coming. Okay, let's see. Okay, you could see 81 is coming here, and square root of 16 is coming as 4. And here, out of this all number, the maximum number is 26 out of this. And if you just change, give more value called 49, and 78. So let's see what is the output is coming for this as a max number. So it will be 78. It's change accordingly. So that is the way automatically these math functions, this kind of library function is very, very useful. So TypeScript library function are the pre-written functions, either built into the JavaScript runtime, which definitely TypeScript can easily use it, or found in some external library, which provides specific functionality like different operations, mathematical calculations, like different like uppercase, lowercase, square root, like mean, max, okay, round, selling, flooring, okay, getting the random number, getting the power, all this stuff you can do. You can try to check with this thing, and if you press dot, automatically all these functions will be, you can get it. Okay, log, pi, math.py. So what value it will be giving? 3.14 something like that, right? So if you use it, math.py. So if you are want to get the area of a circle, so you can use that pi, math.py star radius star radius. So automatically no need to give the value, automatically be coming. See what is the value is coming from the math.py, because this is the function from the math. Okay, so that is the way, these are the important math functions, we can try to use it in the TypeScript world. Now let's go to the next topics. After that, I will take a pause. Any doubt, we will discuss it. So what is TypeScript type inference? Because in case somebody who already learned about JavaScript, in whatever way we are using TypeScript, so here mostly most of the time we need to give that data type, right, for any variable. But for the JavaScript, you no need to give the data type. Whatever value you are giving, based on that during runtime, it will try to take the data type. Okay, and no need to define it. So here also TypeScript support the type inference. So TypeScript type inference automatically determines the type of the variable, functions return value, object, and array based on their assigned values and usage. This feature reduces the need for explicit type annotation. It will simplify code while maintaining type safety. By analyzing the context and the initial values, TypeScript ensures that the variable and functions operate with consistent and expected types throughout the codebase. Variable type inference means the programming language automatically deduces the type of a variable from the value assigned to it without the programmer explicitly specifying the type. Array type inference means the compiler or interpreter automatically determines the type of an array based on the element it contains. Instead of explicitly declaring the array types, the language infers it from the assigned value. So TypeScript automatically determines the method return type as well by analyzing its return statement. While parameters usually require explicit annotations, their type can also be inferred if default values are provided or through contextual typing in a specific scenario. So that means that whenever you are defining any variable, creating any function, creating an array, you no need to define the data type. You can simply give the value. And whenever you are calling them during runtime, based on the value, it will try to decide the type of the variable or method or array, all this stuff. So that is called TypeScript type inference. Let's understand with couple of examples or explanation of in the code. Then your understanding will be very clear. So what we can do, let's try to define something called let, any variable called num, and where generally we need to give called number, right? Equal to, say I can define something called 10. Now I can try to print it out. So that is the way generally as of now we have learned. Okay. Now if you try to print it out, it will be giving the value called number. Okay. Now let's see in case we are not giving this part, what will happen? So that time your type inference will come, because whenever you are defining this variable, you did not define anything as of now here. What this type, what this variable type, whether it's a string or number, nobody knows. But whenever you are giving the value called 20, and then whenever you are trying to run it, that time it will check what value is assigned there, and that type it will be working accordingly. And now if you want to print out, same way console.log type of num, it will be giving you the number, because during runtime it will be able to understand that what is the type, sorry, type of, yeah, this type of is the operator in TypeScript. You could see this coming as number. Now if you try to change it to any value, say num there, but we are defining some value called test20, that's fine, right? It's alphanumeric, it will be string only. Now you could see based on the value you define during running, it is trying to consider this value and accordingly it is working. You could see value is getting printed out and it is coming as string, because this is string within the double quote. Now in case you are changing to boolean value, simply boolean value, nothing but the true or false, so it will work accordingly also, same way that it will be coming as boolean, that a type of this variable. So that is the way during runtime it is understanding what the value is all about, and then it is trying to give you the value. Now let's see with the array. Okay, let's define some variable called let, called say fruits. Okay, and I'm not defining any data type at all, and just simply trying to give the value single dimensional array. I can try to give the value called say mango. Okay, called apple, banana. Okay, and something called grapes, like that. And then what I'm doing, I'm trying to simply print it. Okay, this variable value I can change it, can change it also, that is fine. So this is the way I can do with the array, and you could see it's coming as object, because array is always an object and value is also printed out. So that is the way I can deal with the variables, I can deal with the array, and I can try to deal with the functions also. So let's try to create a functions called function name. I can give it called sum, and here I can try to print some variable called integer a comma, sorry, not integer, here it will be a, then comma b comma c. Okay, and let's try to see what's happening here. Return a plus b plus c. Okay, now what I'll do, I will try to call it. Here it will be sum method name, and I'll pass the argument 10 comma 20 comma 30. Let's see whether it's working or not. Yeah, you could see we did not define any type of the data. We have defined simply three variable or returning it. Now what is coming here? Output is coming as 60. Now in case we are giving something other way, okay, so what will be happening? In case I am giving something another one, test, which is string. So let's see what's happening here. You could see it is concatenating 10, test, and 30. Just simply concatenating, is doing not the doing the normal arithmetic plus operation. It's concatenating because any what part is string. So during runtime, it is trying to understand what's the value all about, and then it is behaving accordingly, and all the operations, all the internal logic is implementing accordingly based on the way the value we are trying to pass it. So during runtime, it is trying to accept those value and it is trying to accordingly react. So that is called TypeScript type inference. Now I'll go to the next topics. We'll try to understand what is types constructor. So you already learned about lot of methods in the TypeScript. Okay, but now we will try to go with uh, the TypeScript constructor. Okay, so constructor is nothing but a special method of a class which is automatically called when user create a new instance of that class using the new keyword. It is mainly used to initialize the properties of the new object. Constructor do not have any explicit return type. They always return an instance of the class. So in Java also, in case we are defining any class, we can try to create the constructor. But here there will be no return type. But constructor names should be same name as the class name. But here TypeScript is a little bit different. Constructor cannot have return type, but constructor should be always with the constructor word. That is the couple of main difference in Java and TypeScript. So a constructor is a special method of a class that is automatically called when user trying to create an instance or object of that class using the new keyword. So user can use public, private, or protected on constructor parameters to automatically declare and initialize class properties, reducing boilerplate code. TypeScript allows for constructor overload with a single implementation to handle different parameter scenario. Constructor overloading also possible similar to Java. Constructors serve as the entry point for the object creation, giving user control over how objects are initialized. They can validate input data, set default values, and ensure that the objects start in a consistent state. Whenever working with the TypeScript in the framework like convex, constructor helps establish clear initialization pattern for the classes, making user code more maintainable and type safe. Now let's try to see how we can use the constructor. Let's comment out all this code. Let's try to create a class called class name called okay, learn, okay, programming same name I can give it. And here I can try to give some variable called PL, programming language, and definitely it can be string. Okay, nothing but a string variable simply. And here I can try to create a constructor in the class. So we have defined this variable called PL is nothing but the programming language. So we are creating a class called programming, and this is a block inside the class. And now we can try to create a constructor inside the class, not outside the class. So constructor what should be there? Constructor what should be there? And you can have any variable you can pass it called language variable, and here it will be string only. During constructor invoke I can try to pass it. And now what we can do, this dot, okay, what we can do, PL, because that with the help of this keyword I can try to access the current class of class variable, right, equal to language. So here C will be lowercase. Yeah, that is fine. Now we have created the constructor. So you have created the constructor called programming, sorry, class, and we have given a variable called PL, programming language string, and creating a constructor. We are trying to pass a parameter called language string type. Now we are trying to map this string, this dot PL, this right from the class. You need to use the this keyword because with this help of the this keyword, we are trying to access the current object or variable from the class, right? And that is the way mapping it. Now what we'll do, we can create one more method here to displaying it variable, so called display language. Okay, and here just simply syntax. Okay, it will be returning, and I can try to concatenate with something called return within the double quote called learn programming, learn programming language, and you can give comma, then I can try to concatenate here with the this operator, this dot, okay, PL. That's all. So my class created. Now what we can do, we can try to access this object. So what is the way I can try to create it? So how I can create the object or instance? So I can create something called late or constant, then I can create something called variable name called language one. Then I with the help of the new keyword, and I can try to use the class, whatever class you've created. With the help of the new keyword, I can try to create an object. And here I can try to pass. What I need to pass? Language. So I can give something called TypeScript. So that is the I can pass it. So my object created. Okay. Now with this part of this variable, now what I'll try to do, I'll try to call the method, and then I can print it out. So I'll be using console.log, and I'll be calling this variable dot method whatever display language. Now let's see what's happening here, whether it's working or not. Okay, so it's calling the functional display language. So here I need to give this method exactly. Yeah, now it should fine. Yeah, you could see learn programming language and TypeScript is getting concatenated. So what we are doing, we are trying to create a class programming where we are trying to define some variable, okay, called programming language, and we are trying to create a constructor with the word constructor word, and where we are trying to press one more variable which should be similar PL, right? That is the way mapping it this dot PL equal to language. Now we are trying to create a method to print the value, sorry, language. So I think its pronunciation not correct. Okay, display language, and we are trying to return this word, and this dot PL is nothing but the PL is the programming language variable we are passing. Now we need to change it also here. So now, what is the beauty of this constructor? Because I can have n number of objects created from this class, and I can change the value during creating the object or instance, because this constructor was there, right, where I can pass the value. So that automatically constructor will be invoked. So I can have new variable called language 2, and I can change it to JavaScript. Okay, now I can try to pass it, and you could see it will be coming like that. So this is the way I can go with the constructor. You could see learn programming language, JavaScript coming. So I can create n number of object or instance from this class during passing the different value, and I can use them whenever required. So that is the way constructor will help in the TypeScript world as well, right? To deal lot of stuff. Okay, without creating the functions, we can have the constructor, and constructor as and when we are using the new keyword and we are trying to create an object for instance, immediately constructor will be invoked, similar to Java also. But during in Java, constructor name should be same as the class name, but here it will be with constructor word. Now let's see couple of more example. So I can try to go with some student class. So here what we are doing, we are trying to create a class called student, where we are having couple of variable class, student class, student class number, roll number, and marks. Then we are trying to create constructor with all the four variables of the we have defined at the class level, which is student. Then we are trying to define this dot name, and this we are matching it here. Same variable name you can give it, otherwise you can give some different variable name also in the constructor or here, whatever. Because this keyword, with the help of this keyword, you are trying to map it. Okay, we are initializing the property here. Okay, now what we are doing, we can directly without creating the object, sorry, method also, we can try to invoke the constructor. There is no problem. So we are creating an object called student1, we are passing the value. Now we are trying to print it out all the way, right, one by one. So that is the reason here this kind of method is not required, like display language. So you can try to call it one by one separately. Okay, so here if whatever way is working, we can do it. Now let's try to run the code. Let's see what's happening here. You could see separately is coming. Student name Rahul Chen, student class number 9, student roll number 27, marks obtained, like that. So now what we can do, we can try to create one more instance from this class called student 2. That is fine, perfectly fine. Okay, create one more instance or second instance. Okay, here I can try to give it Sharma. So say he is starting on 8. His roll number is called only 6, and he got marks called 92.7%. Now I can change this variable name also here everywhere. So that is the way I can have n number of objects created using the new keyword from this class, and automatically my constructor will be invoked. Now you could see for the second student, Ram Sharma, number class number is 8, roll number 6, and this is the marks we obtained. But now we'll see one more example real time, where we can have the similar method also. I can directly invoke it without having so many lines of code as part of the console.log. So we'll see one of the real time example, one more for the constructor. Okay, so one more real time example for the constructor is kind of product. Okay, in most of the time in the website you are trying to go with the product search, any Amazon shop, let's say, or okay, or Flipkart, other different website. So in TypeScript, constructor are special methods primarily used to initialize an object properties when an instance of a class is created with the new keyword. A common real-time examples involve the data model for an application such as product in any of the e-commerce inventory system. So what we are doing here, we are trying to have a product class, and we are trying to have couple of parameters or properties of the class called name, string, price, number, and category, like which product belong to which category, general category or electronics category, or like say kind of dress category or cooking like home care category, like that is the way I can define it. So I can create the constructor with all the different properties whatever defined, and here I am trying to define some value which is default value. In case we are not passing any value, the default value will be taken. So this kind of stuff you already learned in the previous session. Okay, this is the default value I can define. So in case you are giving value, that time it will be overridden here. Otherwise, default value it will take. Same way we are defining it here also. Price, name, category. Now we are trying to create a method separately where we are trying to combine all the values in a single line so that I can call this method automatically. I can get all the desired value. That is the way method also you can create it to display all the relevant details, whatever way a constructor or the variable we are defining. Now we are trying to create a product very object called product one and product two. We are trying to provide the value for the product one. We are trying to provide the value in all the three fields like the product name, the price, and the category. But the second object, what we are doing, we are only trying to give the product name and the price, but not the category. So category will try to take the default, which is general already defined as a default value. So that is the beauty of the default value. Also, some of the category, some of the variables or type. Now if you just try to run the method, try to just use this object and just call this method, automatically you could able to see the get the output. So that is the way also you can try to create the constructor, and which will be easily helpful, right, to sort our code, right, so that we can try to optimize them as and when required. We can try to maintain it very easiest way, and construct will be really important in any of the programming language world, whether it's Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, like all over the way. It's constructed is objective is primarily same. Okay, so I'll take a pause. Any doubt, anybody? Okay, so we'll go to the last important topic for today's session, which is nothing but the called array. So in Java, in case you already worked in Java, JavaScript, you already seen the array. So array is nothing but a kind of ordered list data structure primarily in the TypeScript. So in a TypeScript array is an ordered list data structure used to store collections of elements of a specific type. It should be similar type. You cannot like store something with called numbers along with string and other way. You should be similar. Either it's a number, either it's a string, either it's a boolean like that. Okay. So a TypeScript array is an ordered list data structure used to store collections of elements of a specific type. Leveraging static typing for an enhanced code safety, each value known as an element in an array is assigned a numeric position in the array called index. The index will start from 0 and it will go till n minus 1, where n should be the size of the array. Okay, so in case you are defining say total 4 element, so how array will be go, indexing will go, it will starting with 0 to 3 because size of 4, so it will go to 0 to n minus 1. So first element is nothing but the 0th index, second element is nothing but the first index, third element is nothing but the second index, and fourth element is nothing but the third index. So that is the way. In case size of the array is n, array index will go to 0 to n minus 1. Array can hold any type of data. It can be string, number, object, or even other array, making them flexible and essential part of the TypeScript programming. Array can grow or shrink as element can be added or removed at any point of time. Arrays allow user to organize related data by grouping them within a single variable. There are two primary ways to create an array, with array literals being preferred and more common method. Otherwise, we can try to use the array constructor. How we can try to use the array literals? Where we can create the array. So user can create an array by placing element inside an array literal. Only just simply dimension separated by comma. Let's see how we can go with the array literals. Okay, let's comment it out this code. Okay, let's define something called let num is the name, and I can give with number, and dimension is single dimension. Now I can try to give the value of the array, say again this dimension, say 1 comma 2 3 4 5, like that. Okay, variable name should be let. Here it will be equal to sign. Yes. Now what we can do, we can try to print out console.log, and I can try to just simply print it, the nums. So this is the way we can use the array literal. Just like string literal, also you can use array literal. So it is printing out. So user can create an array by placing element inside an array literal separated by commas. Otherwise, there is a constructor of the array is there. So array constructor method primarily uses the built-in array constructor function. It can be called using new keyword. So let's see. Let's try to create an array using the new keyword. So what is the way I can do it? So here, let's try to create something called same way. Instead of let's nums, I can get something called num1. Okay, and here I can change it to constant. Okay, here what will be there, and simply remove this part. I'll be using here called equal to new array, and here instead of this one I need to change it this bracket, and I can change it this bracket, and here it will be num1. That's all. Now you can change, have more elements so that you can get the distinguish 6 comma 7 comma 8 9 10, like that. Now you could see the differences. That is the difference. Okay, you could see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 coming. So you can try to use either array literals, or you can try to use the array constructor to define an array. Now, what are the different operations we can try to perform on the array? Let's see. Okay, we can access element of an array, and any element in the array can be accessed using the indexing number. The index in the array start with 0. Okay, we can try to access first element of the array. So here we can give the indexing as 0. Okay, n minus last element using array dot length minus 1. Okay, let's see how we can use that, this accessing the array element wise. Okay, so you've defined couple of array, which also already printing it out. So let's try to go with the array indexing. Okay, so let's give num, and let's try to access the first element, which will be coming as 0, right? 1. So it will be 0th index. Now if you want to go for the third element, so it will be second index, so it will be printing out 3. Okay, now if you want to go the last element, so in case your element is more, it is not possible to give the indexing like counting. So what we can do, you can use these functions here, okay, called last element, the variable name. What is the variable name? Nums. Okay, try to use something called okay, that is fine. Num is fine. Then here we can use nums variable name dot length method I can call. Okay, length minus 1. That's all. So it will be going to the last element, because length minus 1, because starting with 0. Let's see how it is behaving. You could see the 0th index is nothing but the first element is 1. Second index is nothing but the third element is coming as 3. And length minus 1 index is nothing but the last element. Simply I can go with the last element. So that is the way I can try to go ahead with the last element. Now, what are the other operations we can try to perform on the array? We can try to add, or sorry, modify array element. Okay, element in an array can be modified by assigning a new value to their corresponding index. Now let's see to modify it something. What is the way you can try to do it? Let's I will try to modify the number, which is 1. I want to modify to 10. Okay, now let's modify a couple of number. Okay, like 0, and first number also I want to modify to 20. Okay, that is the way I can try to modify. So it will be 20. Now let's try to print it again, the nums. So it will be 10 20 2 3, like 2 3 5 2 3 4, like. Okay, 1 will be replaced by 10, 2 will be replaced by 20 and then 3, 4, 5. So that is the will be coming. You could see 10, 20, 3, 4, 5. So 1 already replaced by 10 is updated and 20. Now 3, 4, 5 is coming. So that is the way I can try to update the array. So this part I can comment it out. Okay, this is the way I can try to update the array once it is defined. Once it is defined, I can print the whole array. I can try to print that element wise using the indexing, zeroth element, one element, second, all this indexing or length minus one. I can try to update the array. Now I can try to add element to the array also. So element can be added to the array using method like push and unshift. What is the objective of the push method? It will add the element to the end of the array, whereas unshift will add an element to the beginning of the array. Let's implement this. So we're already having this element 5. Okay. So let's try to add something. So what is the variable name of the array? Num. Okay, that call push. So it will be adding something at the end. Here is a number. Simply I can define with this way, right? 20. And then again nums dot unshift. It will be trying to add at the end, like called. Instead of 20, you can give it 30, so you can easily understand. And I can make it 100. Okay, so 30 should be added at the last, and 100 should be added at the first. In case it is a string, it should be given the double quote. That's all. Okay, you could see. Now what are the element? 100 is coming first. Why? Because 100 I'm trying to use add using the unshift method. So unshift method will add some element at the beginning of the array, whereas push method will try to use to add some element at the end of the array. So initially it was 10, 20, 3, 4, 5. Now 100 added using the unshift method and 30 added at the last using the push method. So that is the way you can try to add this one. Okay, use the help of this push add element at the end, and here unshift add element at the beginning. Okay, so that is the I can do it. Now let's comment out this code. Okay, so if you just print out, same way it will be printing out. Now just we have commented out this code, so it's same way. Now we are having this 5 element, right? Okay, 10, 20, 3, 4, 5. Now let's see about that how we can try to remove the element from the array. So to remove the element from an array, user can use different methods. Like we have already used push and shift to add the element. Here it will be pop, shift and splice method. So pop will remove the last element from the array. Shift will remove the first element from the array, where splice will remove or replace the element from the array with some ordered. Let's see. Okay, num variable dot first use the pop dot pop. What I want to do? Okay, so I can use shift and pop. So say pop, simply pop method I can call it. That's all. I think it should work. And then now I can call nums dot push. Yeah, you no need to give any variable value, because it will pop will go from the last, and your push, sorry, it will be not push, it will be shift shift will remove from the first. Let's see what's happening here. So initially it was okay, it is coming. Okay, I need to print it now. I need to cut this line here and paste it here. Yeah, now let's see what's happening here. Yeah, you could see initially 10, 20, 3, 4, 5 was there. Now we are using pop. What is the pop? It will remove the element from okay, it will be removing the element from the end. It will remove instead of add. Okay, and here shift will remove the element at the beginning. So that is the reason 10 23 5 3 4 5 was there, 10 removed and 5 removed, 23 4 5 is coming. It will remove. Okay, now we can comment out this part, and now we can try to use the one more method called, what is that, called splice. So let's see the usage of the splice. So what we can do, we can use this variables, then we can try to use the splice, and here you need to give some indexing. Okay, let's give it 2 comma 2. Okay, let's see what's happening here in output. Okay, then you can understand easily. Okay, see, 10 20 3 4 5 was there, but 10 20 and 5 is coming. Why? Because you have given 2, means second index it will try to remove 2 element in a single time. So 3 and 4 is getting removed. Now if you give the first index, means it will try to remove 20 and 3. So the output will be 10, 4 and 5. Means from the first index, excluding the 0th index, it will remove 2 element. But if you give the element number as 3, so only it will be 10 and 5 will be remaining. Because from the first index, I want to remove the 3 element. From the first index, I want to remove the n number of element. First thing is called the indexing, where you want to start it, and second value is called the how many element you want to remove it in a single attempt. That is the usage of this splice. So you could see now 10 and 5 is coming. So this is the way you can use the splice or shift or pop to remove the element. You can use push and unshift to add the element. Now you can get the array length. We already used the array length here, right? Whenever you want to try to print it out like that, okay. So we already used this array length minus 1. Now simply we can print it out. Okay, simply we can print it out. So to print out the value of the array, initially how many element was there? It was 5 elements. So what will be the print value? Okay, num dot length. Simply that simple thing. You can use this length dot right length functions to print the value. Let's see. Okay, see, length is coming as 5 because there are 5 elements. If you want to remove couple of elements after that, if you want to check it, so it will be now it will be 2 element. So that will be 2 element value will be coming. You could see the element value is coming as 2 because 10 and 5 is there, only 2 element. So that is the way you can use that length method to print the get the array length. Now you can try to increase or decrease the array length. Okay, so say you are having 10 element. Okay, but you want to only print the 3 element, first 3 element. So how can you do it? That is also possible. So you can define hardcode the size of the array called 3. So automatically remaining element will be truncated. And if you want to just add the thing, so the later point of time you can add the element. So in case you are having 10 element, but you are sizing the array size of 15, so remaining will be coming as blank value. That is the way you can try to increase or decrease the array length. So let's see how we can do it. So let's define this variable nums. So what I can do first, dot uh, length. You need to set the length. So here first I want to set the length. Though it is 5 was there, I want to make it 3. Now what I want to do, I want to print the value. So what will be there? First 3 value will be printed out only because we are defining the size of the array called 3. See it. Okay, you could see 3 value is coming. Now, say next time I want to change the value as 7, but I am only having 8, but I am only having 5 elements. So what will be coming? You could see remaining thing is coming as empty, 3 empty items. Why? Because there are 5 elements available, but I am defining the size of the array as 8. So 3 empty lines item is coming. So later point of time I can assign the value and it will work. So now in case you want to assign the value, so you can do it like that. Nums. Okay, so fifth element is nothing but your, sorry, sixth element is nothing but your index 6, index 5, it will be sixth element. You can give something called 30. Similarly, I can try to add it. Last 3 element. Later it should work now, then fine. 30, 40, 50. So that is the way you can try to get the, give the size some extra buffer, and later you can try to add the element. Now you could see what's the output will be coming: 10, 20, 3, 4, 5, 30, 40, 50. You could see 10, 20, 3, 4, 5, 30, 40, 50. So this is the way it will help you to deal with the couple of way to increase and decrease the array length. Now we can iterate through the array element. User can iterate array and access array element using for loop and for each loop. Let's see the implementation using for loop, how you can do it. So what we can do, we can try to print out also easiest way. So for I can use let variable, say I equal to 0. We already defined the size of the array. So what we can do, we can go with I less than, okay, what is the variable name, nums dot length colon. So it will, as starting with 0, it will go till length minus 1 and I plus plus. Console.log nums and for every I. That is the way I can try to use the loops to print out the array element. You could see now it is coming like that way. Instead of as an array, it is coming as that way: 10, 20, 3, 4, 5, 30, 40, 50. So this is the way I can try to use this uh, for loop, and we can iterate all the element one by one. Okay. Now let's try to comment out this code, and let's go ahead with the couple of other array example where I can try to do with the string array. Okay, so let's define let array 1 equal to, I can try to give some couple of tools name here. Okay, let's give some tool name called Playwright string comma selenium. Then I can give some comma called Tosca. Then one more something called Cypress. This is the tool. And then I can have one more array where I can have the different programming language array 2, and I can use C, I can use C++, I can use Java, I can use TypeScript. Okay. Now the two array, if we want to concatenate, how you can do it? So this is the also one of the operations possible called array concatenation. Combining two or more array using the concat method, it returns new array containing join array elements. So how we can do it? I can directly concatenate, otherwise I can try to create a variable array called array3, and here I can try to concatenate. How we can concatenate? Array1 dot concat method and array2 I can pass it here simply. That's all. Now I can try to print out this array3. Let's run the code. You could see both the array got concatenate. Just simply if you just before concatenate, if you to print the array one by one, you can also do it, and then you can get the difference. Okay. Initially it was coming as Playwright, one array, Selenium, Tosca, Cypress. Another was coming as the programming language, C, C++, Java, TypeScript, and now it is getting concatenated with array 1 to 2. Now if you give it to array 2 with 1, so array 2 will be coming first and array 1 will be coming last. So that is also possible. It will depend how you want to concatenate. You could see now C, C++, Java, TypeScript came, and then array 2 is coming because you want to like to concatenate array 2 on the after that array 1 on the top of the array 2. So you can try to convert an array to string. How you can do it? You can use, suppose the array 3 is displayed, which is concatenated array. How you can do it? Like you can use something called dot to string method is there. Method you need to call it. Now you can it will be converted to string. You could see C, C++, Java string. It's converted to string. So conversion of an array to string. So user can use the built-in method called toString to convert an array to a string. That is also possible. After that, you can check the type of an array, right, using the types of operators. Similarly, whether it's a variable, right, or array, you can try to check. It will be mostly returned as an object for the array. So what you can do, you can just use this type of operator, type of array or variable. You can use it. Okay, array one, two, three, everything. Whether it's a normal thing or you could see it's always coming as an object. This is the type of operator. Now you can try to recognize a TypeScript array. How you can recognize? There are two important methods available by which user can recognize a JavaScript or TypeScript array. Okay, by using array.isArray method. In case it's an array, it will be giving you true. Or by using instance of method. You instance of method you already used or type of used. Now you will see that how we'll use those two parts. Okay, let's see. Okay, here I can give something called type of already used. Here I'll be using called, okay, with the help of this method here, array dot is array. Okay, you could see is array, and here you can try to provide this variable called array 1 or array 2 or array 3. Array 3 I can provide this, that is fine. So that is the I can try to check it whether that is array or not. Similarly, I can try to check it that array 3 is the instance of an array. Okay, array 3 space instance of an array. So this is the two way we can check whether it's array is not or any kind of variable is there or method is there. You could see both are coming as true because this is an array. Now in case you simply declare something called let, okay, very var one, okay, var one, okay, colon number equal to say 20. So it will be array or not. Let's check it. Okay, what is the var one? So it will be giving you false value only. Last two will be false. Okay, you could see both are coming as false because this var is a number, it's a data type, not an array. So it is coming as false. Is array is false. Here also instance of also false. So in case it's an array, is array will be coming as true or instance of will be coming as true. And your type of will be object for the array. And for the normal variable, it will be data type. It will be data type. Here it will be number. You could see it's coming as number. So this is the way you can also couple of important stuff you can do with the array. Now next thing is that search an element of an array. Suppose say you are a very book you are reading, or in computer there's a huge word document, right? So similarly our array also will be having similar type of, right, array will also will be having nothing but your similar type of ordered list of data structure, na. So where you can have n number of data, but in case say 1000 data is there, so it is possible to go through one by one if you want to search that particular element is there with the some word. So how you can do it? So TypeScript index of method returns, right, the first index at which the given element can be found in an array. If the element is not present, it will return -1. Let's see the implementation. So say here I already having a couple of thing. Okay, so I'll try to okay, first I can get the indexing also, that which index it is present with the help of the indexing. So say here I will be using simply the variable name array 3 dot index of, and what I want to check, say I want to check called selenium, which index it is there. Selenium. Okay, and check with others which is not available at all. Let's check with something called WebDriver, which is not available. So what output will be coming? So whatever available, exactly the output will be coming fifth index, because here you could see initially we are having C all these four language, so 0 to third, fourth and fifth index. But this particular web driver is not available within only 8 element, so it is giving you -1. So that is the way you can try to use the index of. Then you can try to check whether includes with the word, right? Whether it includes or not. Okay, it will be giving you true or false only. Includes here. Okay, that word is includes or available or not. Exactly. Okay, Selenium is available or not, WebDriver is available or not. So Selenium available, it will be coming giving you true. WebDriver is not available, it will be giving you the false. So whatever is not available, it will giving you true or false. Now say I having the lot of thing is already available, right? Coming C, C++, Java, TypeScript, Playwright, Tosca, Cypress, everything is coming. If you want to sort the array, how can you do it? Okay, simply, very simple way we can do it. Okay, you can take the array and then you can call the method is nothing but the sort method to sort the array dot sort, and this is the method you need to call it. Now it will be coming as sorted order. You could see C, C++, Cypress, Java, Playwright, Selenium, Tosca, TypeScript. Sorted order. Array can be sorted with the sort method. Okay. Now if you want to just iterate it using some enhance for loop, right, or for each loop, we can also do it iterate. So for, so here how we can do it, let, okay, you can give some, what is the old variable called array3, and I can create a new variable called arr and old variable name array3. That's all. Here it will be if operator of, this is the way it will work in the TypeScript. Okay, now here simply you can try to print it out. You can sort, no need to sort it, just simply add new variable. That is the, you can try to print it out, array, using the for each loop. Now last thing we'll discuss about the array, we can use the multi-dimensional array as well. As of now we have used single dimensional array, but how we can do the multi-dimensional array in case there's a two dimension. Okay, so let's try to create a very simple way. Let's try to comment it out for now, this part. So we can define something called let, I can create a matrix. Okay, multi-dimensional. So this is the dimensional, and here I can have the lot of dimensional other. Say 1, 2, 3. This is the first row. Then I can have this bracket again. I can go with the second row, 4, 5, 6, like that. Okay. So this is the way. So 1, 2, 3 will be coming in the first row. So element will be row 0, column 0, 1, 2. Element 4, 5, 6 will be row 1, column 0 and 1, 2. Now if you want to just simply print it out, how you can do it? Okay, just this one matrix. Now here you need to give the indexing. Okay, row and column. So I can give row 0 and column 1. So which element it will printed out? Let's see. Okay, 2 is coming. Why? Because whatever we have written 1, 2 and 3, and then here 4 and 5 and 6 is coming. So this is the row 0. Okay, row 0, and this is called row 1, and this is called C1, this is C2, column 2, this is C3. So what I want to do, row 0, this is row 0, column 1, this is column 1. Sorry, this is column 0, my bad, column 1, sorry, column 0, column 1 and column 2. Okay, so row 0 and column 1 is 2. Similarly, if you want to go with, okay, row 1, column 2, what will be the value? 6 will be the output coming. So it will be coming as 6, because row 1 and column is nothing but the, sorry, it's not 6 yet, 2. Output will be 6. In case something is outside, then it will be giving you the error. because that element is not visible outside the index completely, right? So it will be giving the error. Okay, now still why error coming? Okay, okay, so we have used this part, na? So you need to just comment out. My bad. Okay, you could see row 0 column 1 is 2, row 1 column 2 is 6. So that is the way. These are the very very key operation we can try to do with the array. An array is a very very important topics, especially for the TypeScript world, and lot of thing is there in the array, and we can do all this stuff with the array. So let's recapture what we learned today. After that, any questions I will take it forward. So we have tried to learn about the TypeScript anonymous function. So anonymous function is nothing that does not have any name and usually assigned to a variable or passed as an argument to another function. Anonymous function can return any value using the return statement. So we can have anonymous functions with all data types. Then in anonymous function there might be asynchronous callback. Okay, so asynchronous function sometimes mostly commonly used as a callback for event that happen later in time, such as timer completion or network response arriving. Asynchronous callbacks in TypeScript are commonly used for tasks like fetching data from a server or handling user event without blocking the main program execution. A real-time example involves simulating a data fetch using set timeout to mimic network latency. Then arrow function is nothing but it's a short method for writing the function expression. User can use equal to get up then syntax to introduce the arrow function. So arrow function can have without argument or zero argument or no argument, one argument or more than two argument or equal to argument as well. Then we can have the TypeScript race parameters where we can try to create a generic functions where we can try to provide n number of parameter, 0 to n number of parameter, and all the like based on the functions body your and based on the parameter value you are passing, your function will work. So that is the way you can use the race parameters in the function. So in TypeScript, race parameter allows a function to accept an indefinite number of argument as a single array. They are indicated by the triple dot symbol before the parameter name. Then you can have the library functions where there's a math functions available here. Lot of in the math, right? We can have lot of functions like square root, mean, max, pow. We can also use the two uppercase, two lowercase. We can have the rounding, random, ceiling, floor. So these are the different library functions available. So TypeScript library function are nothing but the pre-written functions either built into the JavaScript runtime, which TypeScript can use easily, or found in some external library. Okay, so which provides specific functionality like mathematical calculations, okay, or string manipulations, like etc. So whenever you are using those functions, you can simply use those functions without writing the definition of this function from the scratch. That is the way we can optimize the code and will easily helpful for to maintain the code as well. TypeScript type inference is nothing but which will automatically determine the types of the variable or functions return values or object and array based on their assigned values and usage. This feature reduces the need for explicitly type annotation, simplifying code while maintaining type safety. In JavaScript also, whenever you are defining any variable function, you no need to give the data type generally. So here also you can use the type inference in the TypeScript. So that time we no need to give the data type. Instead of that, we can assign the value, and whenever we are running, based on the value it will behave. So that is called TypeScript type inference. And type inference can occur for variable level, functions level, object level, or array based also on their assigned value and usage. Based on their assigned value or usage. Constructor is nothing but a special method of a class which is automatically called when user create a new instance of that class using the new keyword. The constructor is primarily used to initialize the properties of the new object. Constructor do not have any explicit return type. They always return an instance of the class. So we can create constructor, right, with different variables. We can try to define the properties using the class, and we can try to create a constructor. We can create a method, then you can create lot of object, and then you can try to use the constructor, and constructor will be invoked whenever we will be using the new keyword. So in TypeScript, constructor are special methods used to initialize an object properties when an instance of a class is created with the new keyword. A common real world example involves a data model for an application such as product in an e-commerce inventory system. Then TypeScript array, which is the last part for today's topics. So TypeScript array is an unordered list data structure primarily used to store collection of element of a specified type. It can be any data type, which help to leverage static typing for enhanced code safety. Each value known as element is assigned in numeric positions in the array called index. Index will start from 0, it will go to size minus 1. Array can hold any data type such as number, string, object, or even other array, making them a flexible and essential part of the TypeScript programming. Array can grow or shrink as element can be added or removed any point of time. Arrays allow user to organize related data by grouping them within a single variable. There are primarily two type of methods or way available to create the array using array literals or using the array constructor. Once we define the array, we can access the element of the array, first, second, last element. We can modify the array element. We can try to add the element to the array using push or unshift. So push will add the element to the end of the array, whereas unshift will add the element at the beginning of the array. If you want to remove any element from an array, we can use pop, shift, and plies. Pops will remove the last element from an array. Shift will remove the first element from the array, where plies will remove or replace more than one element of the array from any size. We can get the length of the array using the arrays.length method. Length method. We can try to increase or decrease the array length. We can iterate the array through the loops or enhance for loop, right? For loop or enhance for loops. We can concatenate two arrays or more arrays. We can try to convert an array to a string with the help of the toString method. We can check the type of the array, whether it's an array is really object or not. We can try to recognize an array with that particular variable or data type or object is array or not with the help of the array.isArray method or using the instance of method. We can try to search an array element. We can try to check whether the array containing a specified element. We can sort the array, and also we can deal with single and multi-dimensional array. So that's all from today's session, guys. Thank you.